Year 6, so we're looking at Friday's maths lesson. So we're going to do an arithmetic style lesson. So we're looking at adding and subtracting decimals. Now this is something that's thrown quite a few of you over the last few weeks. So we thought we'd stop our journey for a moment for a lesson and focus on these specific skills, okay? So we're going to start off with subtracting a decimal from a whole number. So for example, if you were given this question. Now, these seem to be throwing you a little bit, so I'm going to show you 3 different ways you could do it, okay? So the first one I'm going to show is using a written method. So 8, and I'm taking away 2.76, so that's just one whole number. My other one's 2.76. It just doesn't look nice to me. It doesn't look like it's lined up, so you can put your decimal point in and put your zeros in, and all of a sudden, that question looks so much easier, okay? And all you need to do now is a normal written subtraction. Now, 0 take away 6. You can't take 6 away from 0, from nothing. You can't borrow from here, so you need to borrow from your 8, that'll become a 7, a 10, and then you borrow from your 10 to make it 9. There we go. So 10 takes 6 is 4, 9 takes 7 is 2, and 7 take 2 is 5. Now, some of you are now leaving your answers like this, but I'm sure you're all screaming at the computer now going, "Miss, you've forgotten your decimal points." Now, it's very important to remember that your decimal points, they are all in a line, like the buttons on your shirts. So that would be one way you could answer a question like that. Now, I'm going to show you a slightly different way, which is something that you've probably not done in a while, but using a number line. So if I gave you the question 12 take away 4.19 equals, you could use a number line. So start off here with your starting number, and you want to get to 12, okay? So you can what would you add on to 19 to get to 5? So use your number bonds to help you. Well, I know I'd add on 81, so I'm going to add on my 0.81, and that would take me to 5. And now all I need to do is go, what would I add on to 5 to get to 12? I would add on 7. So altogether, my answer would be 7.81. So that's a different strategy you could use. Now, the final strategy is all about doing it in your head mentally, which some of you may prefer, and that's just by using your number bonds. So if you were given the question 6, take away 4.36, it's about using your knowledge of number bonds. So, well, I'm at 0.36 here. I want to get to the next whole. So the next whole will be 5. So what would I add on to 0.36 to get to my next whole of 5? So it's just using your number bonds. So it'd be 4 hundredths to get to 40. Then it'd be 6 tenths. So it'd be 0.64. And that would bring me to 5. And then I add on my whole 1. So I'm adding on my 1. And adding them together to get 1.64, but most of you will probably be able to do that bit in your head, okay? So you're going to have some questions that look like that. Choose whichever method you prefer. I don't mind. And you're also going to get some larger number questions. So for example, 327.15 add 21.326. Now this is when it's really, really important to make sure you are lining up your decimal points. So 327.15. Children find it very easy to do this because then it looks nice and lined up, but that's not. My decimal point is there. My decimal points are no longer lined up, which means it's wrong. This is my hundreds column, and I've now got 20 in my hundreds column. So you need to make sure you line up your decimal point correctly. And again, if you want to put a 0 there, so it looks more appealing, looks nicer to you and makes it feel a little bit easier, you can do. Now I'm going to put my decimal point in straight away so I do not forget. So now I'm just going to do some nice simple addition. 0 add 6 is 6, 5 add 2 is 7, 1 add 3 is 4, 7 add 1 is 8, 2 add 2 is 4, and then 3 add 0 will be 3, so that would be your answer. Now I'm going to show you one more, but I'm going to show it you as a subtraction, okay? So I'm going to have 506.1 take away 72.398. Again, look, that's a 100 number here, and this is only 72, so make sure you line up those digits correctly. Decimal point in a line. Now this is a subtraction, so you do need to put your zeros in. Okay? So 0 take away 8. It's tricky, so then you can't go to there. There's nothing to borrow from this 0, so I borrow from my 1, which becomes 0. This becomes 10. Borrow from my 10, that becomes 9, and that becomes 10. 10 take away 8 is 2. 9 take away 9 is 0. 0 take away 3. I can't take 3 away from 0 without going into negative numbers. So borrow from my 5, then it will make it a 10. 10 take away 3 is 7. 5 take away 2 is 3. Can't take 7 away from 0, so borrow from my 5 to make it 4. 10 take away 7 is 3, and 4 take away 0 would be 4. Okay? So please make sure you are setting out your work correctly and you are lining up your decimal points.